Hathel, Norfolk, England. I've just spent a couple hours lapping the new Lotus Evora Sport 410 around the legendary Norfolk sports car maker's 2.2-mile test track. As you might suspect, it is more than a mildly pleasant diversion on a grey English afternoon. I should mention this was only after 3 sunny days and more than 500 blissful miles spent getting to know the most powerful Evora yet by hammering it down a variety of pastoral English country lanes of the narrow and sacredly curvy sort that gave birth to this Lotus and its many esteemed predecessors. The Sport 410 is also, undoubtedly, the car Lotus wishes it built when it launched the Evora line of mid-engine sports cars in 2008. Think of this car as an upscale, upsized retake on the more minuscule mid-engine Elise that returned Lotus to volume production in 1995. The Elise boasted a groundbreaking chassis of bonded aluminum extrusions, and the new Evora was a great car at the time of its US introduction in 2010, an Elise with a V6, just shy of 11 inches more wheelbase, and a tiny but still useful back seat. It was, however, still possessed of a few more rough edges than a firm with a long-standing reputation for rough edges might want their self-proclaimed Porsche competitor to contain. It steered and rode wonderfully, and while a marked step up from previous Lotuses in terms of build quality, its ergonomics were still more challenging than any modern Porsches. Plus it continued to have that unresolved air about its secondary controls that small volume makers often suffer. That went double for the all-important infotainment interface. Such things strike terror in the hearts of a majority of well-heeled enthusiasts. They expect reliable transport and lack of idiosyncrasy on those days when they want to start an occasional Sunday drive, and by gum, they're going to get it even if it means buying the less exciting car. History records that's what they mostly did, as annual US Evora sales infrequently broke into the low triple digits. The Evora also weighed close to 3,100 pounds at launch, more than 1,000 pounds heavier than a Federal Elise, 2005-2012, and a surprising lot we thought at the time for a car from a company that long reigned supreme in its commitment to lightness. To add speed, add lightness, company founder Colin Chapman famously said, and with the aluminum Elise chassis, Lotus seemed to have finally found a way to adhere to its traditional lightweight values while making a car that was strong enough to meet 21st century crash standards, if you will, head on. But the perennially strapped specialist maker did the best it could with what it had. Building sports cars is, sadly, an even smaller niche than it used to be. So although the Evora was quite special out of the box, the development that would have smoothed out some rough edges and eliminated some of the avoirdupois had not occurred. It rode and handled wonderfully, it didn't rattle, but it was hard to shake the idea that the thing weighed as much as a Jeep. And it cost in the high 5 figures, which though easily justifiable still took many traditional Lotus fans out of the running. Happily, the Evora 400 came along in 2015, lighter and more powerful, and now the still lighter Sport 410, a new 2+0 limited edition, only 150 to be built, addresses these shortcomings again except the price, more on that in a moment, and not a moment too soon. Aside from that stiff and safe chassis, the 410 benefits from a curb weight that's been heading down since 2008. More than 200 pounds have been excised since those early cars, thanks in part to extensive use of carbon fiber and ultra-lightweight alloy wheels. All the while the power figures, and aerodynamic downforce, keep moving up. At the center of the Sport 410 self-betterment equation is once again an engine something like what you might see in a Camry Toyota's 3.5-liter 2GR V6 but as massaged by Lotus, cams, ECU, lightweight flywheel, and here in supercharged form. With 400 horsepower now at a heady 7,000 RPM, and 301 lb-ft of torque at 3,500 RPM, it is markedly quicker than the 246 horsepower the Evora was born with. As motivational assets go, the blown motor goes great 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.9 seconds with a top speed of 190 miles per hour. A great all-round package for driving very quickly on everything from winding back roads to serious racetracks. Lime Rock, Connecticut. Thank Facebook that this car is even here. The original Audi TT RS wasn't going to make it to America, but when a Facebook petition exploded back in 2010, it garnered more than 11,000 signatures in a month. Audi decided to bring the high-performance model stateside. All 500 units sold out for the 2012 model year, so for the following year, Audi of America stole 300 TT RS coupes originally intended for Canada. Those sold out, too. Fast forward to today, and I'm driving an all-new TT RS that's lighter, more powerful, and faster than that original. Yet it has all the same building blocks that got enthusiasts hot and bothered 7 years ago: punchy 5-cylinder turbo engine, quattro all-wheel drive traction, and in-your-face looks. Will this car be in as high demand as its predecessor? After a few laps around the 1.5-mile Lime Rock Park circuit, I'm prepared to say the answer is a firm yes. The Audi devours straight lines with a manic burble, the type of off-kilter exhaust sound only an inline 5 can make, as the engine and dual-clutch gearbox rocket the car forward. It grips hard in high-speed turns and turns in eagerly to the track's lower speed bends, quick steering making it all the easier to swap directions in an instant. Pile onto the optional carbon ceramic brakes and there's a refreshingly firm pedal feel as speed evaporates. Most of all, though, the TT RS is noticeably forgiving. It's my first time ever driving at Lime Rock, and it's far from an easy track to pick up in one sitting. But the Audi has enough compliance and gentleness in its chassis setup to tolerate some less than perfect lines and last-minute adjustments. It'll tighten its line under power coming out of a corner, but there's never a sense that the TT RS will come around on you and cause any panicked moments. The cars available on the track are all equipped with the Dynamic Plus package. It swaps the front brake pads and rotors for carbon ceramic units, adds a carbon fiber engine cover, installs OLED tail lights, the first on any production Audi, raises the top speed limiter from 155 to 174 miles per hour, and replaces the regular magnetic adaptive suspension with a fixed, RS-specific suspension tune. If you're going to be a track day junkie, it's a must-have for your TT RS. Under the hood of every TT RS is a turbocharged 2.5-liter inline 5, a revised version of the engine that weighs 57 pounds less than its predecessor. Weight savings come from switching from iron to aluminum construction, as well as from a hollow steel crankshaft and a magnesium oil pan frame. With 400 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque that are sent through a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, it's plenty of power for a car that weighs 3,306 pounds. Stefan Rail, Head of Technical Development for Audi Sport GmbH, says that the somewhat untraditional engine size and shape pay big dividends in terms of drivability and performance. Compared to a 2.0-liter four-cylinder, the Audi's engine can generate more torque before the turbocharger wakes up, and it produces more exhaust gases to spin up the turbo sooner. It also maintains the 0.5-liter per cylinder engine spacing that Audi likes for its performance engines, 2.0-liter four-cylinders, 3.0-liter V6s, 4.0-liter V8s, while being essentially the biggest engine that could fit transversely inside the TT's engine bay.